Probably need a little bit more hands-on.
He did.
But I was definitely glad it was him, for me. But it blows my mind just to think what he got accomplished in a day and how he scheduled himself and the impact that he had like in y'all's lives and everyone else's. And I used to have to clean up after him, and like if there was something on the ground or something, I would pick it up and I'd pick it some more days to let it clean. I would do it. And so he would always show me different things, and it never really clicked, obviously. But I still do a lot of those same things today. Like I would catch myself, Mom will, be like, that sounds like something Buzz would do, or see something on sale, I'll grab it with your friends, or like, something, just passing stuff around as people's trash. And but it was so interesting because like I knew his schedule, I would like to say probably better than anybody, but I think everybody knew his schedule. And it was always just such a warm feeling when you would see his truck pull up on the afternoon and at like 5 o'clock, and he'd always have a certain way he would do it, and it would be like 100 miles an hour from that long driveway. And everybody would just be like literally waiting on him to get there, and we'd get a house full of people and church members, everybody else would all do coffee, and it was all his best friends. But I just remember at 8 to 5 with him, I'd get up and I'd hear him kind of, because I'd always spend the night at their house, and I'd hear him doing his stretches in the morning. I'd know doing his jumping jacks and his stretches. I think, does that stuff work? I don't really know. And then we'd go out, we'd look in the garden, we'd go cut roses, and we'd bottle them all up. He'd always make me carry roses to my teacher so I'd be in good graces with him. And he made me cover the whole school with these roses, every teacher, even the teachers I was going to have the next year. And so I would be bringing these little beer bottle vases, It was interesting because, like, I've seen a lot of the old films that half my family can't stomach to watch because it hurts so bad. But it was funny because I guess he used to be a drinker, but he's not. I guess he outgrew it or something because him and Dr. Austin, I think they had some jokes and their fishing trips. But I just remember he'd always have one beer at lunch. After we had a big day of visiting and going, making arounds and saying prayers all over the hospital, intensive care, and we'd go to people's homes or homebound, and I was just thinking, this is pretty cool with me. Like, it'd be hard to explain this to my friends, because it just was a different quality, and it was like a really nice quality. But it was so genuine, because it didn't matter, and I was trying to explain this earlier, like where we were or what the setting was, but he'd always had the most humble, poetic way to just bring it right back to where it started, and let everybody know why we're all here, and just the importance of everything to people. And like, it's crazy because like, whether it be going to Allison's games, like in Senatobia or New Albany when she was playing basketball, and like none of these things were ever close. He always managed to fit it in his crazy schedule. Like he'd always come to my games, and I'm thinking, you don't have to come to my games, I know how busy you are, and I would like, clean his truck out for him when it would get kind of like where I couldn't tolerate it. Which I've learned doesn't take a lot. I can't tolerate a lot when it comes to cleaning this organization. But he always trusted me. Like I'm dealing with everybody's like, digging through their tax returns, cleaning out his office. But I always knew what was important and what wasn't. And, it was just real fun. He would like show me how to redo furniture and plant roses and gardening, and I was just like, it didn't click probably until a couple of years ago, but it's like, I don't have the confidence he has, obviously, because he just really knew his stuff, but, we'd go through, he had roses on campus, he had roses, they had them everywhere, and, I think one day I got bored and I counted them probably a few times, but I think it was like over 250 roses, like, it's just like, that's a lot, especially when there was a guy there to cut every day, but, I don't know, it was just really neat. Everybody always gave him a warm welcome. Everybody had a nickname for him too, no matter where we went or what city we were in. Took us to the World's Fair one year, which I don't know how you could, any of our family trips, especially car trips, had to be organized around him because we haven't done a trip like that yet for our family since. And I don't know how he did it. It was funny because I could see Uncle Johnny, Greg's dad, and them, and they had, I was like, it was hard for me to realize that Greg's dad was an uncle because the way they communicated. They were so like, it was almost like an episode of Cheers or something, the way they would bounce back and forth with just one-uppers. And his dad, I think, probably got the better of Buzz on a lot of them. But, I remember one time I think, I guess, Uncle Johnny was being taught, I guess, was your dad, was Buzz his teacher at one time? I just remember him telling a joke, and he said, he's like, he goes, nice socks there, and Johnny wasn't wearing any socks, and he's like, thanks, Doc, they match my underwear. He never knew how he was going to help him. I'm like, how did you get away with that? Like, you know, like, they just, both of them geniuses. I mean, but I don't know, it's just real nice. I remember filming, like, just a day with Buzz was just amazing. Like, he had one of the first big old VCR tape recorders. He'd always put me behind it and have to record everything. We could hear when Buzz did it, just how genuine and cool he was. Like, oh, there goes old, Josh Massage and all this. And like, and he'd always have a little conversation. It was like, but it was just so funny. And Mom can't watch it. And I tried to, but it was just, but he was always there where anything was important. He never missed anything, whether it might be somebody at the hospital or just where we spent the night. It was just a beautiful thing.
My favorite was when he would go and he would put his trash out, and he would clean out his shop and think he had some good trash. And when Jimmy, Tammy, Angie would drive by, Bud would look out the window to see what he picked out in his trash. And I'll never forget Bud.
This is the guy that was known going through people's trash. He was a little.
So Bud was watching and wondering what Jimmy was going to pick out. He didn't get anything. Bud was so upset. Well, he didn't see it. He didn't see that. Bud went outside and rearranged his trash. It would make it a little more appealing if Jimmy rode by again.
I just know, like, everybody in our family tested him, but he had such a beautiful way of just, nothing ever really seemed to really get to him. I think one time we had some stained glass. I heard my mom tell a story. I was on a tricycle, and this is the guy that taught me how to drive a car and ride a bicycle. And I remember pushing me, and I'd crash. And I just remember one day I was like riding my bicycle over the stained glass, and I was just punching it all up and just laying out flat.
He had just prepared it. He had spent months on it,
And he would always do it himself, and I'm just riding my bicycle and listening to it
And
going.
right after he stood up to look at his masterpiece of stained glass that he had redone, here comes John Michael. No, way to profit. And Teddy, I started laughing. And I guess I was in shock. And Teddy goes, get him out of here. He never mentioned it again. He never talked about the broken glass. I don't even know what happened to it. It was a big church window. It was huge.
Daddy
And
got
he had
one for
spent
all of us.
hours and
All
days.
children. Daddy got a stained glass window for each one of us from the church when they tore it down, I guess. And they called and said, guess what? And I said, what? They were telling me that Daddy had gotten us each a stained glass window. And they called and said, John Michael ran over yours with the tricycle.
Well, from the way they acted about this thing, they probably did them all a favor, because it ends up being like such a sentimental thing. It's not really easy to take around. I'm still taking this thing back around. I can't give it away, but I don't really want to. But it's like, it just is a part of me I just keep holding on to, just like everything Bud gave me. Luckily y'all simplified it to a Lowe's. I've got like desks and furniture and everything else in the world that he had, and I'm like, just let it go, and then just, I think they just think this is a good end, and pass it along. But anyway, I'm very pleased that we could all come together. It's always fun to reflect your stories about my grandfather and how he touched everybody else, and I just appreciate it, and I think it's cool, and glad we all need to do this, because I can stomach it. I try, I know, but it's difficult for our family sometimes to just kind of go back to it.
That would be
No, I was just thinking
Oh, I got a book full of my computer.